Good morning, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the dinner last night and you weren't up till 4 o'clock in the morning because we don't want anybody falling asleep in this session. Welcome to our second live session. This one is picking up where we left off yesterday. If anybody was with us in the morning session yesterday, we were talking about joining up. In this session, we're going to talk about scaling up and speeding up. So it's acceleration and it's getting bigger. For those of you that are going to be with us for the whole of the day, we've got another session this afternoon. And if there are no time for questions after the individual presentations this morning, we have got a slot opened up. Sadly, one of our speakers can't be with us this afternoon. So we're going to open that session up for a 15-minute Q&A. So if you haven't got time this morning, there's ample opportunity this afternoon. Great. So we're going to hear from 6 live projects. Our first live project is going to be from the Czech Republic. And I'd like to invite Radka to come up and speak on behalf of the trio that has put this together on restoration in the Czech Republic. Radka, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lynn. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Radka Broumová, and with my colleagues, we prepared presentation examples of habitat restoration in Czech Republic. So, short introduction. In Czech Republic, the LIFE program started in 2004, and in this moment we've realized more than 50 projects, and 30 projects was focused on nature and biodiversity. The main aim is restoring or strengthening of European habitats and species. Most of LIFE projects were regional, but we have also some international, mainly with Slovakia. So, for our presentation, we have chosen 5 projects, and 4 projects are traditional. It's LIFE České středohoří, LIFE Lounské středohoří steppes from area České středohoří. It's on the map on the northwest part in Czech Republic. And next, LIFE for insects and LIFE for butterflies. It's from Bílé Karpaty region. It's on the southeast part in the Czech Republic. Yes, and the something like overhead project is one nature project, integrated project focused on Natura 2000 sites and effective management systems. So I start with the České středohoří protected landscape areas. The main info you can see on the screen. The first step in this area was removing of shrubs and trees. You can see step by step all the process, and from the cutting to chopping into biomass and remove from this area. In this moment, you can see nice picture how it should looks like. So, and České středohoří protected area, we would like to mention difference between management and no management areas. There are, you can see canonical analysis results, yes, and there are really big difference between these management. So you can see that the areas or sites with management is in a better condition. The abundance of species like Adonis, Thymus. On the other hand, sites without management, there are spread and dominance of shrubs like Cornus, Crataegus, and Prunus. So really, I would like to say the importance of followed-up management in this case. So this is a nice example of restored sites in České středohoří. This site calls Bílé stráně. In English, it's something like white slopes. And in the first picture, you can see a lot of Cornus sanguinea shrubs. And after removing, and after 10 years, we can reach really perfect conditions of these habitats where we can find more than 60 species, plant species, and 20 of these species are rare in a Czech red list. So, impressive results of these two projects in České středohoří are in a table, but I would like to mention two very popular festivals in České středohoří. They are held thanks to live programs, yes. First is a Step Festival, and the second is a Pasture Festival. And I don't want to forget that one of the live projects in České středohoří received a Natura 2000 award in the category communication. So, and similarly, in Bílé Karpaty protected landscape, there was removed a lot of abandoned meadows into nice meadows, pastures, or open canopy forests. Yeah, this project improve mainly butterflies and insect species in Bílé Karpaty protected landscapes. So, on this slide, you can see processes from the cutting, the special sites Smolenky Radějov, and on first picture is it was it was beginning, and the last picture is after restoration. Yeah, you can see the perfect progress of the vegetation double. This is sorry, it's a trap for me. So in Bílé Karpaty, we've monitored 10 sites, yes, on 6 different areas, and these sites was monitored from the beginning for 3 years, and you can see just only one of these sites and the perfect botanical progress from the shrubs, no plant layer to spontaneous successions. So, and this is results. You can see these results on the screen. So the main message I mentioned, spontaneous succession works no green hay or regional seed mixtures needed in this case. So, and from traditional life project to the first integrated project in Czech Republic, maybe small step for life program, but for Czech Republic it was big step. One nature project is integrated project focused on a prioritized action framework for Natura 2000 site, and the big aim is effective management of Natura 2000 sites. If we want to have a perfect or effective management, we should fight on with more of actions. Some of them you can see on the screen. It's monitoring, management planning, and prioritization. Also, cooperation with landowners and land users. So, big deal of this project was the implementation adaptive management cycle in a nature conservation information system. So together with our complementary projects, we try to develop two really constructive tools. One of them is assessment of effectiveness management, you can see. And the second is evaluation of target species on a site level. Both of these tools are used for, in a Nature Conservation Agency, and with the results of evaluation of target species on site, status on site level, we are going for regional authorities, and we discuss about the problematic localities, barriers, and how to fit it up. So, One Nature project has a lot of achievement, and I can see that we are proud of our work, yes. But also we have obstacles. So in in the beginning results, I'm very proud of our expert seminars, what we held every year. We discussed the problem about management with the site managers of localities, and we try to define problem and held special seminars for these topics, and then we try to propose solution, yes, and we have really real impact. It's a perfect. Also, I want to mention roundtable seminars with administrators and applicants for topics like co-financing, sustainability, and priority in nature conservation. Also, our video or film, Values of Nature, received award of Food Agriculture Organization on agrofilm in Bratislava. So we are very proud. Who have never seen yet this film, I can recommend you, because it doesn't take a lot of time. It's about 20 minutes, not Tarantino, don't worry. But we have also English subtitles. So, and best practice with regional authorities, I mentioned in a slide before. The discuss is very nice, but also we try to share our best practice with management of localities in a Natura 2000 sites. But it's not so easy, the negotiation with some authorities. And obstacles, our lesson learned, lack of time for realization. We were the first integrated project, but only for 6 years. But it's not possible to reach in such short time what we promised in a grant agreement. we do also max, but some processes, some procedures are really long term, yes. And also involving stakeholders from Ministry of Agriculture and others isn't so easy to set up the negotiations. Yes, so I think that the minimum is 10 years for integrated projects. Yes, it's better for our next projects, 2 projects in Czech Republic, who started later. So also fluctuation and project team, but it's normal. So in the end, something like a conclusion. Thanks to live programs, we really improve or restored a lot of habitats. We strengthen a lot of population of threatened species, and we are really happy. I can say that the deal with nature restoration law, we will not start from scratch. Yes, we have a lot of experience, we lots of restored habitats and improve populations of endangered species. So thank you very much. I would like to thank my colleagues for support. I would like to thank you for attention, and Lynn and Honza for the opportunity. Do it. Thank you.
One more click. One more click.
More
Thank
click.
you very much.
Yeah, so.
Can we show our appreciation for Radka? Thank you. Okay, I'm really sorry we do not have any question time now. We're going to skip on happily. We're now coming local to Estonia, and we're going to hear about Estonian Mayas from Jüri. Jüri, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Jüri Ott-Salm. I'm from Estonia Fund for Nature. I was the project manager of Life Myers Estonia project. And the title of the presentation is Comprehensive Restoration of Wetlands in Nature and Mines. And the first slide you see on the right, this is the Tudusoo Nature Reserve. And all the ditches on a landscape, these are now closed. Also, we did a forest removal experiment on the edge in a transitional zone. And this was done by a construction company who did the drainage renovation in this side of the forest area, and the border of the forest and the nature reserve is just this strict line. And this was kind of eye-opening that also the planners of our nature reserves saw that actually there is a contradiction and it is very hard to achieve wetlands restoration if we have such physical barriers and also mental barriers that people at the same time do the drainage and at the same time do the restoration, and our landscapes get quite polarized. The team of us was bigger, but today's presentation there are people who were involved in monitoring, in planning, in education from Estonia Fund and University of Tartu. The project itself included also a third party, which was Archeovision, and their role was website and archaeology. So we were thinking that why not to dig deeper and maybe to find some even pork bodies, which is a big expectation by archaeologists, but we didn't have a chance to improve the exhibition here in National Museum. But one of the stands is about pork bodies. You are welcome to see. We are happy also to say that in this year we got a Natura 2000 award, which is a big appreciation for us. And also we got the other award. This is a Science Popularization Award, and this was as we published some study videos. So the project consisted of 6 action sites around Estonia. They are all Natura 2000 sites. They are mostly bogs, but also transitional zones and some of the forests. Some of the areas were mined for peat extraction, but mostly it was forestry drainage. Our luck was also the extension of the project period. So first we tried to do it in 5 years, but then we had to extend it, and it was very fortunate it was approved. And we had external partners, which is also very important, State Forest Management Center, Environmental Board, communities, volunteers. So if we started this work, then actually we had so many questions. Restoration wasn't quite in a practice in Estonia. It was really a startup in 2016. There were some projects, but people didn't know it. And so we had many questions, and then we decided, okay, we will answer them. And our website includes short texts about this kind of issues. And I'm happy to say that nowadays sometimes some politicians even read these, and we find these in articles. So it is very important to address this and to make information available. And also how to give the replies. The other thing is that to make educational places. So some of you attended first day excursion to Tuduso Nature Reserve, where we have a study trail. We call it Life Trail. And on a picture, maybe it is also exceptional, but the Estonian president visited the site and got an overview what all this is about. So I hope that, for example, Macron could be taken to some of the restoration areas. I think it would be very useful. So this is one way to make these events and issues available for the public. But the other thing is that really our PR persons, they were really active. And we tried to include journalists to our activities and to publish ourselves. And during these 6.5 years, we had 300 articles, not published directly by us, but they mentioned restoration, Mire restoration. They sometimes mentioned life. And in total, we had 1.5 million readers. So basically, we could say that all Estonians should have read something about Mire restoration. We are happy about that. So the next thing was that we developed the study videos, SO. And now this is a language lesson to you that Marko explained what SO means. Do you remember? Mire. But if you say SO, so it means also that, okay, I got it. So 2 meanings. And this is well-used videos. It has been viewed more than 100,000 times. These are nine videos on different topics about Mire, about archaeology, about restoration, and so on. And we try to combine them with Estonian school curriculum, so the actually teachers also can use it. And then we arranged different hiking trips, study days, trainings, and we included also volunteers. So we had 51 events, and volunteers either monitored birds or made peat dams. And so plenty of events. And in order to address also youngsters or children and their parents, Piret Pungas-Kohv made a fairy tale book, so fairy tale stories about different mires in Estonia, how to address them. And yes, it is still in bookstores available. And we hope to make third book as well sometimes. Also very relevant was that we followed what is included in Estonian cultural databases or literature, in newspapers. So Piret Pungas-Kohv went through actually Estonian literature and saw how the attitude towards the Maiers has changed. And the other thing was this archaeological research. So we didn't find pork bodies, but we did found some artifacts. And this makes, I think, the work more attractive to the public. So now to the nature. So this is a SERE site we visited on Wednesday. This was how it was before restoration. A lot of bare peat. And when we made the so now it was. Okay, let's try to put on the video. Technicians, please help me. Oh. No. So technicians. Here we go. Okay. So now you see this is made by drones. So you see that in 6 years it has grown much greener. There are holes which the material is taken to fill up all the ditches. Below you see the water monitoring, which also shows that when we made in filling of ditches, then the water level stabilized, increased. But the challenge is still that we have these issues with droughts, that in August or in July the water level could sink. We followed the dragonflies, so one of the stakeholders, dragonflies, and we had this before and after control impact design. So it was expectation that the population is increasing. And now we also have learned in this year that it is very important to follow up even after life has ended, life project has ended, what is happening. And you see that actually when the life project ended, then there were nice water bodies for dragonflies. And now in afterlife, these are overgrown. So this shows that we could have expectations, could have nice monitoring results, but there are changes. Also, we looked for amphibians. Again, these are the ones who gained maybe most. So in all areas, the population went up, or the number of egg clusters. And we are happy to announce that based on one area, the increase is still steady. And in this SERE Maier also what we did is that it is always the issue with monitoring. So we have included the monitoring in another life project, Life Adapt Estonia, which has this action. And also the third stakeholder group for birds. And in our case, as we removed forest from some areas, then this was the kind of novelty that we tried to understand what is happening with the birds. And the result shows that actually the birds population is not increasing, and also the bird diversity is not increasing. But then we have also the reference sites, and there we see actually that there is a decline. So overall, we see that for the birds, open Maier birds came back, and based on reference sites, it is a good development. For example, for meadow pipit. And also we learned that it is very important not just to target species under protection, but also the common species, because sometimes you just don't find anymore the birds under protection. And also green hang, maybe coming back, hopefully. So we had dilemmas, and dilemmas were like how to deal with protected species who are already there on restoration areas. Even flying squirrel was there beside our restoration areas, or capercaillie. So it is very important for us to follow up these kind of outcomes of the restoration. And also, it is quite difficult always to plan this kind of monitoring and service, because actually sometimes we change the area where we are intending to restore. Some things to say about strategies and situations and future visions that we think, and I think this should be kept in mind, that really the high nature conservation value areas, carbon-rich areas, should be preserved, and nature restoration law is about that. But still, as in the first slide I showed, then on one side of the landscape we still drain, on the other side we restore. So this is very important to keep in mind, that we have to avoid unnecessary drainage, and this should be included in policies. Is it agricultural policy? Is it forestry policy? But this is not in a good state right now. Also, in Estonia at least, we should say that peat mining is still being developed on natural mires, which is in a controversy with the first item I told you. About funding, LIFE program is really a good one. And but as you see, the projects are short and monitoring is uncovered, so it would be very efficient if LIFE includes also national monitoring, because national monitoring is also short of funds. And public awareness is important, because sometimes still we speak about restoration, and in the end the people say to us, we wish you success with drainage. This is the mindset, and this is the mindset of many land managers. And the use of peatlands should not lead to further loss of carbon-rich areas. So this is also the thing with drainage, with peat mining. Yeah. This last slide, these are the volunteers, and we also included Estonian Army into the action. Well, now they are more busy with the other issues, but one day with the army was also, I think, eye-opening for our Estonian soldiers. But then, yes, the rest of the volunteers, it was also a very good experience. So let's make the wetlands wet again. And in a live stand, you will find our layman report. Maybe it's also exceptional that we had to reprint it. Usually you don't reprint these things. And then a handbook. So we put together a handbook about our experiences. It's on a web, but one example is also on a live stand. Thank you.
Have we got time for any questions? My timekeeper says no, Yuri. I'm so sorry, but please do come along this afternoon if necessary. Okay, we are staying regional and we are moving very close to home with Latvia. Lina, are you ready? Excellent. So, okay, great. Okay, lovely photo opportunities. So we're going back to grasslands, and we're next door in Latvia. Lina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm Liena Brīsga-Kalniņa from Latvian Fund for Nature, where I work as Director of Communications. So this will be a bit different aspect of LIFE program than probably we heard before. It's very nice to be here in Tartu in this museum that makes Latvians again jealous to Estonians, and it's very nice to be together with our LIFE family. So I will start with three numbers. 3.4 billion euros, 10%, and 0.9%. So the first number is the investment of a LIFE program in Latvia in period from 2014 to 2020. So now probably there are more data, but this is more an illustration than a precise number. So quite a huge investment. But 10% is the number of habitats that in Latvia have a favorable conservation status as per the National Habitat Inventory. So it is not a very good sign of health of nature in Latvia. And then to grasslands, 0.9 is the percentage of the territory in Latvia that is covered by semi-natural grasslands. And it was 30% 100 years ago, like similar like in Estonia too. So in nature conservation, we are doing the best we can, but it is not getting better. And so probably we are missing something. I ask this question, what are we missing? Some might say, and we heard in this conference before, we need more funding for restoration. I would say that money is very often the answer, but money is not always the answer and not always the cure. And my argument is that sometimes we are missing meaningful, purpose-driven strategic communication. We are missing storytelling, involvement, and action. And we are missing reaching out of the green bubble to audience that is not directly involved in nature restoration, does not live in the areas, does not know nothing. They have their own busy lives. And the question is how to make nature restoration, and in our case, grasslands, relevant to the public. And maybe not to make relevant, but to discover to them, make them discover for themselves that nature and nature restoration and nature in a good state is relevant for everyone in our society. So now to the project. Our project Grass Life, which now has already, we know in a project Grass Life 2, so we are continuing our grassland restoration activities, but this was a nature restoration project that restored 1,391 hectares of grasslands in Latvia with different methods that my colleagues who are also present in this conference might tell better about. But this was also a communications project. And I think in a way it was unique because a need for communication was embedded already in the project design. And the persons who designed this project, our colleagues, they allocated enough communication, enough budget for communication, and communication was included amongst the project goals, not just information dissemination and replication, as it is usually with live projects, but to improve understanding of grasslands and to raise awareness about the conservation. So now a bit to Latvia. So as I said already before, 0.9% of the territory of Latvia is covered with grasslands, which is a huge decline. And grasslands are the most species-rich ecosystem in Latvia. So 50 plant species in 1 square meter. I know that Estonians have more, but let's not go in there. But in the public opinion surveys, only 10% in Latvia mentioned that the diverse meadow is amongst the nature values that should be protected. More attention is paid to forests, to coastal territory, to water objects. So everyone knows what is a meadow. You show people alone with a couple of flowers and say, hey, yes, it's a meadow. Why should we restore meadows, protect meadows if they are everywhere? Look around, drive from Riga to some other town. It's green all over, so we are a lot of meadows. People have their own internal meadows, their own internal understanding. Also, meadows have strong historical and social connotations. Meadows are a part of our traditional literature, art, but there is no united view amongst the larger society what is a meadow. also the main actors, the main change agents are farmers, and it is known to everyone who works with farmers that this is a very tough audience. It's hard to reach, hard to change, and as Estonian colleagues said, and if you are not a middle-aged man, that's even more hard. So in this project, we had to redefine a self-understandable notion, what is a meadow, and fill it with new value. And we had to expand understanding of meaning of meadow management, that meadow needs a person. But meadows are also a beautiful communication opportunity because they are beautiful, they are easy to understand. We had a great team with great expertise. We had partners as farmers as partners. The conflict potential is low, not like with forests, and there is compatibility with business. So the main thing I think that I want to tell today, that it's very important for us to move from information dissemination, from giving out knowledge, because we are so knowledgeable, like you all laymen, you just listen to us and we will give you information, to strategic communication, which is purpose-based. And we started with communication strategy, and we thought about the purpose, why we need to restore meadows, why this is important to us. Also, we used marketing tools and expertise. Like we tried to sell and package meadows like they are, I don't know, new pasta or new phone. We analyzed the target audience and we created focused messages. We chose 3 stepping stones for communication throughout all the project. One was science, which was our scientific partners, University of Latvia, all the monitoring, all the data, all the knowledge. Then the next one was practice. This was all about our farmers, our partners, beautiful people, very actually happy to be involved in communication, and they like that they are getting attention and they are getting recognition. And then we approached the identity aspect of a meadow, because meadows are such a Latvian thing. And basically we had 2 messages throughout all the project, and throughout also our meadow grassland projects. This is 0.8. Now it's 0.9. That changed a bit since the beginning of our project. But we started with 0.8, the territory of the meadows, and 50, the number of species in 1 square meter. Then we used classical painting of Jānis Rozentals, a Latvian classical value, and we repainted it as it would look like today. And this was also a very strong message, and we still use this. We have physically these 2 paintings, and sometimes you don't need to tell much more. You just show these 2 paintings, because everyone knows this song of Pasture Girl. I will go through very quickly the next slides, but we created a branding, and we branded everything that we could with our grass life visual identity. This is a trailer that moves around our mobile grazing herd. And our mobile grazing herd, we became one of the most efficient public relations tool in all our projects. They were very popular. Like when you tell there are cows that go around Latvia and they're called mobile grazing herd, then you really get attention. And they are so cute, aren't they? We also made this abstract square meter real and went with it to events. And it is very, very important for people to touch things, to be involved physically. We also created several calls to action, because one thing is to tell it's very bad and meadows are disappearing and we are doomed. it's very important to give people idea of what to do. And we created My Grassland Commitment, an online tool. We created a series of seminars, I Want a Meadow, which are practical seminars for people who are not farmers but want a meadow. We told what are meadow products and that you can use meadow products to support grasslands. We had an initiative, Plant Your Own Square Meter. We gave seeds to people and asked them to plant a square meter in their backyard. We had a communications campaign which was called Nature Has Not Cancelled Anything, because it was during COVID time when everything was cancelled, and it gained a lot of attention. We used social proof. We told stories about our farmers. We created guides for people who just like to go into meadows, and also informative materials about ecosystem services. We started to plant urban meadows. This is a major of Riga of that time, and we planted a meadow together with him. He's not a major anymore, but this meadow in zoo is like flourishing. It's like a poster child of urban meadows. We work with chefs with the meat from the grasslands. We had more than 100 publications with effectively reached audience 9 million, which means that every person in Latvia has read about meadows or heard about meadows several times. We had a lot of social media reach, and we somehow initiated a movement that meadows now are in. We will have next week a premiere of a play in a theater, a Cinderella, a new interpretation of Cinderella, where Cinderella's mission is to restore meadows. But what about the lessons? Yes, we need to always remember purpose. We need to be consistent, and we need to choose short, consistent messages and repeat them for years and years. We need to use marketing tools. We need to touch the audience. We need to create opportunities for physical involvement, and we need to touch hearts. We are still challenged by landowners, and it's not so easy to switch them. But if the society is now very interested in meadows, it changes also their views and maybe their behavior. Yes, that's the main lesson from Project Grasslife, and now we have 5 more grassland projects, and yes, I'm very happy to hear from random people telling me that meadows are very important. Thank you.
One more. We got time for a question? No, sorry. I'm sure you have some excellent questions for Lina. Okay, so it's okay to change master paintings and make them look like different, and it's okay to change all the nursery rhymes you ever thought of, and it's okay to change the stories of Cinderella because it connects with people, and that's a really great and inspiring story. So now we're going to go back to Estonia, back to our home country, and it's Anna, and he is going to be talking about some freshwater things. So we're into a different habitat. The floor is yours.
Hello. My name is Einar Kärgenberg, and I work in Wildlife Department and Environment Agency. And me and my colleagues Mart and Meelis, we have been working with life projects for quite a long time, and we are connected thanks to NGO Wildlife Estonia mostly. And we are more like ichthyologists, so my speak is a bit about more in this direction also. But in general, life program has been very important in Estonia and helpful since 1992. It has been funded many projects, and some of them are focused also on threatened species and riverine habitats. And here is this list of these projects we have been connected with or worked with. So, and I tried to give a short overview about 6 projects. Some of them are going on, like Life IP Cleanest, which is very big and important project, integrated water management project in northeast Estonia, dealing with ground and surface water problems and trying to improve its quality. And this area is very big, about 15% of Estonian area. And the problem is this is highly or has been highly under industries impacts. And on these pictures we can see also some problems. Here is one footprint of a man on the oil wastes. It's this region. There are rivers which were highly polluted, and during Soviet time, and we are trying to improve the status of these rivers and areas, and it's hard to even imagine the amount of pollution there. But this project is removing the pollution and trying to restore the status of rivers, like Purtse River, which was the second best salmon river in Estonia historically, and also tributaries. And we have many activities in this Life IP Cleanest project. Here you can see one dam that will be removed. The works are going on. We visited that dam yesterday. Here will be fish passage inside the river channel, and we remove also other barriers like this, and we restore spawning areas. Here you can see work. We are working here and using help of volunteers, and we are restocking fish species like salmonids in this river, and it's nice to see that the condition of the river is improving. Here is a river lamprey juvenile. We found many juveniles in this river, what was a big surprise for us and good to see. And here is a video. I hope it works. Yep. Oh, nice. About fish passages, we monitor fish migration also, and here is one fish camera recording. You see big sea trout and also beaver unexpectedly passing this fish passage. So these fish passages are not essential only for fishes, but also other animals, and even people are happy about that. So, and we have other projects as well going on. One big life SIP adapt test dealing with many things, trying to adapt people and fish species with climate changes. And what we are doing is improving river connectivity, reintroducing several fish species like asp, grayling and whitefish, and making habitat restoration studies, making studies on protected fishes and study camps for children. And you can see a study camp here, monitoring fish with help of junior experts. So, and one big and important project is Life Baltic sturgeon. And the problem was this native species was extinct in 1996. The last specimen was got in Estonian waters, and it was extinct in all the Europe. And then it came out that this population was the same like in North America and Canada, and we got, thanks to Germany, specimen for reintroduction, and we introduced them in Narva River and Pärnu River. Okay, maybe I go on and show these rivers. They are quite big fishes. This was the last specimen. It was 2.9 meters long. And this Narva River is here, and one thing what we do is we tag them, and we got the recaptures. The sturgeon needs to spawn in rivers, and after spawning, young sturgeons are going downstream in the sea, and they grow 10-15 years before they come back to spawning. And during that time, it's possible to see the breeding of young ones. And some recaptures we have got so far are these red spots here. And it's nice to see they are so widely present. And they grow quite quickly with 1 year, almost 1.4 kilos. And they are very nice fish. One project that already ended is Life Happy Fish. Very nice project. Probably some of you have heard about it. It was about connecting oxbow lakes. You can see oxbow lake here. Connecting it to the main river, and the problem was fish couldn't migrate between oxbow lakes and the main river. These oxbow lakes are very important for young fish, and the connection should be opened during low water level times also. And before restoring connections, this picture could be like this, and we made big effort to reconnect them. And here you can see proof that the fish spawn on plants. You can see little eggs on the plant. And it's a really nice and big area between Peipsi Lake and Võrtsjärv, and a lot of fish migrate here, and it's a very important spawning area here for the river itself and for the lakes also. Life Happy River. It is also the project that has ended for now, but it was similar to the previous one, but it was about one river which lower section was channelized, and original meandering riverbed was restored. You can see the meandering riverbed here after restoring and the old riverbed here. And it was very nice to see that after restoration, the oxygen content of the water went up as in normal river it should be, and also the river fish species came back in the river. Life Spring Day is also a project that has been ended for now, and it is not so much about fish species, but it's more about a special habitat. Let's say it focuses on the conservation arrangement aspects of petrifying spring habitats in 3 Natura 2000 sites in Estonia. And what makes these sites special is a formation of limestone in these springs. And you can see one big spring here, and very clear and nice water is. And in the bottom you can see white stone or small calcium carbonate that forms there, and that makes it special. But it's possible to ruin these habitats easily, and we try to restore them and make anything for that they are in the good health in the future. So some short key messages also. The LIFE program has been crucial in restoring Estonians' ecosystems, that's SERE, and maybe like always additional funding could be allocated to further support these efforts. Thank you for listening, and maybe you have some question also.
Thank you, Aina, for being prompt. And yes, we do have time for a question or two. Has anybody got a question for Aina? There's one right in the middle row there. If you can just keep your hand up, please, and our lovely assistants will bring you a microphone. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. I was wondering about a project where you reconnect the river with the oxbow lakes. That will be quite intensive to excavate the ground, but I think it's a river which is meandering. Won't it grow back again, or like the sediments will settle and then it will be disconnected?
Yes, the sediments were removed, and they are slightly going back. We expect that they are back to maybe it takes maybe 50 years for that process. But no problem. Historically, these oxbow lakes has been opened by hand by fishermen, and now the situation was something else, and we had to do that work for ourselves. And in this climate project, we look at the process, how far has it gone for now, and how important or when it is important to open them again.
Yeah, it's a good question. Thanks. The need for recurrent management is always a challenge. How are we doing for time? Are we done? One more. We can do one more. Anybody else got a question for Aina? No? You? No? You? Oh. Yes, Christy's got a question. Down. Just here.
Yes, no. I'm not an expert in waters, but I was wondering, in a drought season, there is any risk to drain all the water from the lakes into the river if you do all this connection?
Actually, the water level is so high there because it's so natural nature. So there is no big problem with that. It's quite deep in Oxbow Lakes also.
Easy. Thank you very much, Aina. That's great. Okay, we are now going to step outside the Baltics and move to Romania. Christy, you're on. In fact, we're going to Transylvania, and we are going back to grasslands. I think there's a theme emerging here. So, Christy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Sorry for not talking about vampires, Transylvania vampires. We are talking about grasslands. They are more important, I will say. So, yes, we've been involved in a series of LIFE projects, but today I will talk about LIFE Transylvania Cooperation. It's a project that tried to understand and to see how we can manage Natura 2000 grasslands at landscape scale in Transylvania, working with farmers. So, this is where the Natura 2000 site Sighișoara Nava Mare is, and this is where the place where we are working. We started in 2004. The ADEP Foundation started in 2004 as an NGO doing biodiversity conservation, and in 6 months of monitoring, we realized that this is a man-made landscape. And we decided to add another component, rural development, so trying to add value and to help farmers to continue the traditional management of the land, because this is very important to maintain the landscape. So in our Transylvania Cooperation project, LIFE project, we choose 2 areas to work on. One is Angofa area. It's quite difficult to stay focused with this. And then Viskri area on the other side. I don't know if you are aware, but Viskri was the first place abroad visited by King Charles after the coronation. So because I heard Leanne talking about communication, we are using this kind of high-profile visit to the area to make people come to visit and to understand the importance of the area. So the target areas for Viskri, 1,200 hectares, and Angofa, 740 hectares. We choose these 2 areas because they have different management types. So Viskri, it's a village, a living village with around 500 people. And we are working there with a grazing association that is managing the grazing in the village. And then Angofa, there is, no village. There are only 4 houses left in that area. And we are working with individual farmers. And usually the farmers are bigger in size compared with the farmers part of the grazing association in Viskri. These are the codes for the habitats. The yellow one, they are the habitat directive habitats. So I will go through a couple of actions that we've done during the project, and we'll start with the mapping and monitoring. So this is done by the experts trying to set up a baseline. And we choose the baseline in different management types, grasslands, so grazing, mowing, shrub cutting, so trying to see the difference in management and what's the impact on the biodiversity in general. So the surveys resulted in maps for habitats, rare species, management, restoration, and landscape elements for the 2 valleys. And I have some example of mapping in Viskri, so habitat mapping, and then management maps, then combined management and habitat maps, so trying to have as visual as possible, because all these materials that they were used to in the discussion with the farmers, with local authorities, and so on. We also included here vegetation and soil plots. So we've done some soil analysis on all these habitat areas. And we included also plant species and landscape features. So trying to have the idea was to have an integrated approach and look on all the aspects of the landscape, not only grasslands. And then the second action, this is Angofa. A long time ago, we bought some land, and with the land, we got a farm and the former school. And now the farm was restored through this project. And now, oops. I tried to update the presentation, but seems that is the old presentation still on. So that's why I was a little bit confused, because I had some more details on the barn. So now the farm is used for meetings with farmers. And we have a lot of students coming to do studies in the area, so it has a sort of a biodiversity connection and working more on monitoring and biodiversity checkings in Angofa. So we aim to work with the farmers in the two areas, and we use management and landscape feature maps. Work with specialists to develop different scenarios, working on a sort of a long-term scenarios. What will happen if we go on biodiversity approach, or just business as usual, or intensifying? Meeting with farmers, local management plans developed, so was quite hard work. Lots and lots of meetings, trying to understand the view of all the stakeholders involved. These are some of the maps generated by AI after we gave some input, and this is what is missing from the second presentation. I had something with all the three scenarios, but anyway, the idea is that they were very, very good in discussion with the stakeholders, seeing how the landscape can change using different scenarios. And farmers, they were strange enough, because farmers usually they go for the crop that brings more money. Looking at these scenarios, they were thinking that maybe we should pay more attention onto the biodiversity aspects and landscape features. Also, we've done a lot of training, building capacity for farmers groups. So in Viskri area, working with the association, trying to improve the price for their milk, working on the quality of milk, and we hope to, in the future, in the next 2-3 years, to be able to build a cheese production unit, because the price for milk is very low for the moment, and we want to add value to the product. And this is because we want to keep the management in the landscape. If we lose animals and if we lose the hay cutting, then we lose the landscape, we lose the grasslands. So we developed different indicator species, easy to understand, easy to see, easy to identify plants and other invertebrates. Used a lot of external specialists in management and marketing, trying to see the opportunities they can have in promoting their local products and promoting or transforming raw material into new products. Some ideas, some materials that we produced during the project. We also used some apps that are very helpful. And even though some people in Romania, they think farmers, they don't use mobile phones, you'll be surprised that everyone has quite a good machines, and they started to do a lot of using a lot of apps to monitor their land, to monitor the weather, and so on. So we used apps and also trying to, I think it's called public science or citizen science. This is something very, very new in Romania compared with UK, but we try to involve more people into this to get more information also, but also to raise awareness about the importance of the grasslands in the area. So in the project, the aim was to restore 200 hectares of habitat directive pasture and for 40 hectares of hay meadows. We succeed to do more by clearing scrub, restoring hay meadows management, keeping livestock out, and improve grazing management using electric fence. Some pictures from restoring hay meadows. And this is an example of how we try to do the habitat restoration. So mapping the areas, and then, for example, here in this small plot, we try to reseed with Sanguisorbia. That it's a plant that is so a host plant for a butterfly. We used to have the butterfly there, but the plants are missing. So we are trying to see if we can bring back and improve the grasslands, and also bring back some other species that disappeared a long time ago. We also drilled for water because the area is quite dry in summer, and in order to avoid the cattle movement or sheep movement to the same water point, because this creates a lot of erosion in the area, the idea was to create more water points so that the movement is not on the same direction every day for 2 or 3 times a day. Monitoring, a lot of base studies, flora soil methodology, SERE reports, and so on. Some images from monitoring in Viskri. Very good butterflies. Good results on restoration after scrub removal. So we get quite good high nature value species on the ground. This is Angofa, again, good species coming after restoration. This is grazing, rotational grazing, and using a special harrow. It's a piece of equipment that makes very small, thin trenches in the ground, just breaking a little bit the ground and allowing seeds to go in quicker, and also water to stay more on the ground. Of course, we had monitoring plots, trying to see the differences in places with no management actions. And what is interesting enough, we can see the changes immediately. So after 1 or 2 years of no intervention, the degradation appears, and there are quite a few invasive species appearing in these control plots. Lots of information, Facebook, radio, television. Lesson learned, I think it's very important to have good botanists to do a very good monitoring at the beginning, and then you need to make farmers be interested. So you need to find a way, I don't know, these days financially is the main important driver, but it's very important to build up a relationship, a trust relationship with farmers. And this is not happening overnight. You need to allow a lot of time. Sometimes life projects duration is not enough to build a good relationship. Visualization important to convey messages. So all the messages that all the maps and GIS maps and apps. They were very helpful in the discussion with stakeholders. And what we notice is that grassland species respond rapidly to management changes. So we need to be very careful and to make sure that we apply the right management in order to protect the landscapes. Thank you very much.
One. We're going to have time for one quick question to Christy, if anybody has a question. Did I see a hand up somewhere? No. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. My colleague.
Yeah. How is the situation now? You could create and train the association, which is, steps for sustainability. Does it work well? How do they need your support further and so on? Quickly.
Yes,
that's three
yes.
questions.
In Visco Association, they need support. And this was on my revised presentation. So yes, they need support. They need continuous support and technical support more to understand what is needed in order to increase the quantity of hay they get, or the quantity on the grasslands. With the Angofa Association, because we intend to have the Angofa Association, but we don't want to push too quickly. There are some fractions between the farmers. We work with individual farmers, a little bit bigger, and they don't trust each other. So we are in the process. We work together. We have constant meeting with them. They understand issues. We work together on a sort of water system, so everybody gets water from our well. So it's going there, but building trust is the main issue.
Trust takes time. Thank you very much, Christy. That was amazing. Okay, and finally, last but never least, we're going to the United Kingdom, and we're going to hear from Paul. Paul, if you want to use the microphone, you can. That's fine.
I'll start
on the Great North Bog. So back to peatlands.
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Ledbetter. I work for the North Pennines National Landscape. It's a protected area in northern England. I'm going to focus on financing today, really, based on the Pennine Peat Life project, which is a project that ran from 2017 until last year. So this picture here you can see is a site looking down from a UAV where we are about to undertaking restoration on that site. That's upland blanket bog, and so these are kind of the hilly areas of northern England, and the project was called Pennine Peat Life. There's the number. We're very grateful to have been able to participate in a life project. It's been immensely helpful in cascading new ideas, new techniques, and I suppose, as importantly, new money to help us continue post-life and, dare I say it, post-Brexit. One thing I wanted to pick up on is a couple of people today, Christy and Leanne, I think it was, talked about the need for communications. I firmly believe we need to up our game when it comes to communications about nature and nature conservation, because what we're doing over the past 30 years hasn't worked as well as it needs to be. These are our funders that were part of the project, obviously Life, and we work with water companies and also Environment Agency. So the objectives of the project, I'm going to skip through this really, but it was to demonstrate region-specific, because where we are has microclimates that require different types of adaptations to restoration. To restore 1,353 hectares of blanket bog in northern England, we beat that target by about 400 hectares. We also demonstrated the UK peatland code, which is a way of taking damaged peatland, measuring it and assessing it for its carbon potential and verifying that number, and thus monetizing the carbon, and you can then sell the carbon to corporates, and there's a lot of interest in that. And then demonstrating approaches using UAVs, drones, really back then were kind of new, and now they are much more common. So can we use drones as an effective way to assess? And the answer is yes. And the final one was dissemination, really talking to people like you, to different people, audiences about the work we do, the communication bits of it. This is where we are, for those that don't know. We are above the Yorkshire Dales and below the Northumberland National Park, that kind of forgotten bits of northern England. This is the North Pennines peatland body. It's the biggest upland bog in England. It's 1,000 square kilometres. The AONB itself, the North Pennines, is 2,000 square kilometres. This is what we used to do to it. We paid people in after World War II to drain it, to improve it. And when you drain a peatland, you have devastating effects. But we did this at an industrial scale in the UK. And we still do this. A lot of the areas are burned for heather management, for grouse moors, so there's an issue around that. So you combine all these kind of historic land practices, and you end up with this. These are the individual drains. This isn't shading. These are individual drains that have been cut into the North Pennines since World War II, and there are 10,000 kilometres of them. My program has been going for 18 years. The Pennine Peat Life Project has been 5 of those years, 6 of those years. So this work was completed kind of prior to Pennine Peat Life. So we cut our teeth, as it were, on doing drainage blocking, and we put 1 million dams in the ground over those first 10 years of the program. Those have led to these 4,000 bare sites, bare and eroding peat sites. So you can see that lovely blue peat body is covered in all sorts of things that need to be dealt with. And we're currently dealing with the bare peat sites now. We have about 20 years worth of work left to do. This is what it looks like from aerial photo. You can see that's a bare peat site, one we restored through Pennine Peat Life. You can see in the middle there, there is a fence. Yeah, it is hard to handle, isn't it? There's a fence line right there. And one of the challenges we have is working with landowners. It's all privately owned land. On one side, they wanted to do the work. On the other side, they didn't. But during the project, we used the kind of demonstration of the work. And now that site has been restored since. It's the biggest site we've restored in the North Pennines. It was 250 hectares and cost £1.5 million to restore. So the solution, I'm not going to focus too much on the restoration because I won't talk more about the financing, because I think that's of interest and why I've come here today to talk about the afterlife plan we have called the Great North Bog. But what we did is we developed and fine-tuned our restoration process, which was about hydrology, slowing the flow, about slopes, taking gullies like this and reducing the angle, and there are thousands of kilometres of those in the whole of northern England. Using brash, whoops, I've gone too far, back one. Brash, which is basically cutting from donor sites that are healthy and spreading sphagnum-rich brash onto the sites. And you can see here, these white bags are 300 kilogram bags of brash that have been cut and flown in by helicopter. We cut maybe 5,000 or 6,000 of those a year. So it's a large-scale undertaking what we do. And then lime fertilizer, because the pHs are often too low to stimulate growth, we're allowed to use 1 shot of lime and fertilizer to kind of stimulate growth, and then sphagnum, which is a gold standard. If you have sphagnum, everybody's happy. So we take a site like this, which was one of the Pennine Peat Life sites. You add a bit of European money, a bit of UK money, a bit of know-how, a bit of science, a bit of mapping, and 3 years later, you get this. So it's a very, very effective way of restoring. It works really well. We constantly tweak with the formula, because it's all about microclimates and things like that, but you can see the benefits there. Another site, and same thing, you apply the restoration techniques, and 3 years later, it looks like that. So we're very good at doing restoration work, and I'm more than happy to discuss later on if anyone wants to get in touch with me about how we do it. But what I want to focus on now is the Great North Bog. As part of any good life project, you have to talk about the afterlife, which I always thought was an interesting term. So the afterlife for us was the Great North Bog. Our project was actually submitted pre-Brexit and approved about a month after Brexit. So we were scratching our heads from day one as to what this means for landscape scale restoration. And the idea really was to take all of the partnerships, the protected areas in northern England. So down here we are the Peak District. That's kind of the north of the West Midlands, all the way to the Scottish border up here. And we came together to form the Great North Bog, which we'd always worked together in loose affiliation, but this is about proper collaboration now. Could we develop something that was big at scale, that would interest the politicians, let's say, decision makers, but also corporates, because corporates want to support nature-based solution work. And that's what we did. Interestingly, the afterlife involved us, which was the North Pennines and Yorkshire Peat Partnership, but also Moors for the Future, which is another life project. So life is very involved in this developing Great North Bog Coalition. So you can see the partners are made up of 6 different partners, and you can read that. But it's 7,000 square kilometers and it's attracted a lot of attention from industries like the insurance industry, who are worried about climate change for carbon reasons and or flooding reasons. So it seems to be catching on, this idea. So one of the things you do with any good coalition, develop a structure. So we have a board. This is kind of after the LIFE project ended. Sorry, towards the end of it. So we got new money in from another funder and developed a board structure. We have terms of agreement, let's say. We have lead partners. We have an operations group. We have local partnerships. So we have that in place. That's very important because we are 6 different organizations with 6 different views on the world. I officially work for Durham County Council. We have NGOs, so local authority is Durham County Council. We have NGOs in there. We have national parks. So we all have a slightly different view of the world. So the structure is quite important to get that right. So finding the Great North Bog, most restoration has been financed through public sector, i.e. whether it was LIFE or UK government, charitable trusts and water companies in the UK support the restoration work. Public finances are under pressure and the size of the challenges are increasing. So alternatives. So we thought, what should we do here? So we've got this thing called the Great North Bog, carbon. People are interested in carbon. So we went out there and we basically approached the market and said, if you're interested in buying carbon credits, come to us because we do it right. We have a track record and we do it to the right quality. Some of the challenges you have is the immature markets. Despite what people may say, I'm on the front lines of carbon markets and they're not quite functioning as we want them to be yet. So there's much to explore here. So the record we have, collectively, the Great North Bog partnerships have restored 1,600 square kilometers of peatlands in England. Together, the longest running partner is over 20 years old. We have 70 years of collaborative experience. We've raised £100 million. This is something we often forget, we are a green industry. We spend a lot of money in rural economies providing well-paid jobs to people. So we need to remember that and we need to add those numbers up. We're missing a trick, I think, by not communicating how we are important to local economies. It's a green industry with jobs and careers. I have a lot of young people on my team who have just started the world in conservation and, if all goes well, maybe for 20 years, like I've been. And we work at the global to the local level and everything in between, which I think is quite important. Don't just look inward, look outward. Well, who can help you? What can you learn? And it could be an exemplar of a macro-scale nature conservation project. We think it is, and that's why I'm here today really to talk about this. You can learn a lot from the problems we've run into and how we've overcome them. So the GMB activities, the governance is in place, as I said. The strategy's been developed. And we have a website, and we decided to go out and test the market. As you may appreciate, for many years, the conservation community has been grant-driven and very kind of, please, sir, can we have some more? We decided to take the front foot, and we have a product. We might not want to call it that. I'd be happy with that, but nature as a product is something that people want. So why don't we be brave about it and go to take the front foot? And we went to basically the market and said, if you want to work with us, we want you to fill in an application, and we're going to interview you. And we're going to talk to you about what we think we can do with you in terms of buying carbon credits. So this went out to the banking industry, investors all over the UK, and we got expressions of interest. 15 had come back, and we completed due diligence on all of them. That's quite important, where the money is, what kind of money is it. And we interviewed them. It's an iterative approach. We found they didn't really know what they wanted. They wanted to get involved. Some wanted carbon only. Some wanted to support us for development reasons, CSR reasons. But now we have 5 companies in place in a framework scenario where they are willing to buy carbon credits as they come out from our restoration work across the Great North Bog. So lots of learning and lots of clever people we've managed to bring in along the way. So the current priorities are to solve the governance challenge of, you can imagine, we want to have a £200 million program over 20 years. That's a lot of money, it's a lot of complications. So we have to decide, are we going to be a charity? Are we going to be a company? The Great North Bog is a collaboration right now, it's an idea. There's no official legal entity, so we've got to figure that out. Promotion of the new manifesto that's just come out. We have a new government in the UK, so we put out a new manifesto as to what we believe, why we believe peatlands are important. Produce case studies. We're working with the Green Finance Institute in the UK to show our learning. So that'll be coming out the end before Christmas. We'll have some kind of information as to what we did wrong, how we corrected it, things like that. Develop the restoration pipeline. If we're not doing restoration work, we're just talking about restoration. We do, in the North Pennines alone, about 3,000 to 4,000 hectares a year. Across the Great North Bog 6 partners, we probably do 25,000 hectares a year of restoration work, and we have 20 years worth of work left to do. Continue to advocate for peatlands. Again, why I'm here today partly, but also advocate internally in the UK and across with the new government. And work to solve the market barriers. Again, it's frustrating because there are market barriers. Basically, the price of carbon is too low. It's not high enough for people to buy into this yet. And then continue the restoration work. We're lucky in that I'm very proactive in trying to get new funding in every year, and we're able to continue the restoration work. So we're not waiting for something to happen. We are continuing and developing this market as we go. And then we also working about the CSR market, which is about giving companies give money because for good reasons, and that's important. Don't just focus on carbon credits or biodiversity credits. Don't forget CSR. Companies have trillions of pounds, euros, dollars. Governments have billions. Don't forget that. Donation models. We are actually working with some people who come to us and said, every time somebody books something with our company, we're going to give you £1. And I thought, okay, we looked into that. We're now getting about £15,000 a quarter from one company. So that's £60,000 a year from a company and their booking fees. And we get that money. It's free and clear money. That's a staff member. I can then raise another £100,000 against that. So other options are available as well. To aggregate projects as well. For example, you can have, I don't know, a chain company around your area, and they all chip in £5,000 a year. That's something we're looking at as well. And then collective bids to the UK government and funders. We are promoting ourselves as the Great North Bog partner, and they seem to like that. It seems to be working. And then can keep the momentum going. The challenge is to keep all this going because, we are project driven and making sure we have the money. So the current challenges really are we have a new UK government, which we feel is going to be okay. We don't know yet because of the budget situation. There are changes to the UK agri-environment schemes, which are unclear, uncertain. And there's uncertainty in the carbon markets, which is something I was talking to the World Bank while I was here 2 days ago about that. And then new markets are emerging. They're blue credits, biodiversity credits, other credits. That is great, but it also confuses things. And then capacity, staff, contractors, materials is often a challenge for us as well. So, whirlwind tour of the Great North Bog. Thank you very much.
Paul, just stay there. I think we can just take at least one question for Paul if there is somebody in the room that would like to ask a question. Yuri.
Thank you very much. Very challenging, very big area. But about carbon market and uncertainties regarding the carbon binding, how you deal with that if you sell the carbon credits?
So in the UK, we have the UK Peatland Code, which allows us to do this. It's very scientifically robust. It's third-party verified. It's on a register that is IHS Markit, so a global one. So it's very certain, and it's very conservative as well. So the numbers that we generate from peatland carbon credits are a conservative estimate. There's 25% always held back in case something bad happens. So there's a lot of sites that have been listed. There's just not a lot of people selling. There's a massive demand. There's a massive supply. But there's not a massive supply on the market because the price of carbon is too low. Why sell your carbon at £25 a tonne when climate change is only going to get worse? And if you wait 5 years, your peatland's going to be more damaged, or you can sell it higher. There's a perverse incentive right now for some of these things too.
That's the race to the bottom, I think, isn't it, Paul? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We don't have time for more questions. I know you're anxious for lunch, and there is only 1 hour for lunch. So we are back in this room at 1 o'clock. Immediately after lunch for our final session. Please do come and join us. And if you can't join us, I just want to remind everybody that our next event is going to be a results-based payment platform, which will be in Leuven in October. If you haven't heard about it and you want some information, please come and see us on the live stand, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. In the meantime, can we put our hands together, please, for our fabulous contributors for today's session? Thank you.